children see much more than adults. Everyone has known this for a long time. But what my son saw, or what he saw, terrified me. I see a lot of things myself, so it's hard to scare me. I had no idea that a nasty, sticky, paralyzing fear could get to me. A little bit about our house, just to be clearer. My husband and his 2 acquaintances on kilometer 4 outside of town bought a huge piece of land. They each built a store. Our building is 1,000 square meters in 3 levels, basement, warehouse and 2 floors under the store. And after that, to keep everything close, my husband built a house on top. That's what they usually do in Greece. I did not like this idea at once. I do not like large areas. In addition, I was there all the time, not only felt, but also saw and heard. But that's not the story now. This is another story. At 1.5 years, my son didn't talk much, but he could get the gist of it. And then one morning he was running around the house with his head held aloft, pointing at the ceiling with his finger, laughing, and saying, "Puli," emphasis in I, which is translated from Greek to Russian as bird. And the bird appeared in the farthest room, where my husband and I slept, and the baby's crib was there too. Sonny ran around the room in circles, like a pony in a zoo, and then ran into the hallway. There he did a couple of laps, and then reported that the bird flew away. I was struck by how he was laughing as he ran after the bird, such a clean, upbeat laugh. I asked questions, wanted to understand what the bird looked like, but I could only get out that it was big and white. On top of that, the child pictured the bird doing new wings. The bird was replaced by Olympus, emphasis in Y. My child came up to me one day, made round eyes, and whispered to me, "We have an Olympus in our house." Not Olympus, but Alepu, I corrected. Alepu in Greek, a fox. No, Olympus. He looks like a fox, and a face with teeth, but he is not a fox. Olympus is bad, he wants to bite me with his teeth. When has he ever wanted to bite you? All the time. He seldom goes away. Then my son told me that the Olympus bit him, and sometimes he would start crying and say that he was afraid of him, and demanded that I send him away. But my mother, when she came to visit, was bitten on the arm by the beast. At night. Well, my mother is not a timid sort. She said a prayer and drove away the Olympus. In the morning, she complained that it left a mark on her hand, ruined her appearance, and that the beast woke her up in the middle of the night, panting in her ear, and she, by the way, had blood pressure. I did not tell her anything, not to disturb her. So she told me herself, and described him, kind of like a fox, but not quite, something wrong. And the teeth are so sharp. As she told me this morning, "Your dog bit me, or a fox, I don't know." It's a laugh and a laugh. That story went on until she was about 4 years old. And then I wanted the Olympus back, but not this. I started noticing that when I was talking to my child, he wasn't looking at me, he was looking away. It's like this all the time. I started to get nervous and asked, "What are you looking at?" My son poked his finger to my right. "There's the second mother." Really? I got goosebumps from my feet to my ears, and then I felt the hairs on my head creep up. Burying my head in the sand like an ostrich, I decided to move on. But it did not work. From that day on, I kept hearing about the second mommy. For example, if I told him he couldn't hang off the railing on the balcony, my son would object. But the other mommy lets me, and she gets mad at you when you swear. Everything I said, she turned everything upside down. Then why is this aunt who comes to you second mommy? She's got your face and everything, just like you. Only she's mean. Why is she mean? She's got a mean face. Sometimes my son would stand like glued to the glass doors on the balcony and look somewhere far beyond the territory. He was waving to someone. It turned out to be the other mommy. She had to leave, but she would be back soon. You can't imagine how happy I was when she was leaving. The final straw in this story was that this entity showed my son where the key they use to remove plugs from outlets is hidden. It's for children's safety. And then, according to my son, the other mom showed me how to stick a nail in the socket. As a result, the child was electrocuted twice, well, without consequences. Prior to that, my son was not attracted to plugs, and the key to the plug was so high that I could not reach it without a chair. The question is, how did it get to the child? I had to use all my powers and make that mommy disappear forever. I wasn't sure what the thing was. My son said it didn't live in the house, it lived over there. And pointing his finger in the fields. We have farms all around us. So I didn't know if I could do it or not. But it didn't take long for an answer. My son came over, his eyebrows pulled back to the bridge of his nose. Why did you kick the other mommy out? Why me? And she told me when she was leaving that her first mommy kicked her out. You kicked her out. And she won't come again. There she goes, far away already. My son stuck his nose in the glass. He was watching. He saw. And I didn't even look, because I didn't know if she'd come back.